This is the Caro-Kann Advance variation, e4, c6, d4, d5, e5. Black has one quiet problem: the light-squared bishop can get locked behind its own pawn. After e5, the first curve drops. In the under 1000 sample, Black chooses e6 in about one position in 6. At the top, that choice is almost absent. This counts positions, not blunders. The bishop gets to f5. The second curve climbs with White's h4, ending at roughly 4 positions in 10 at the top. Under 1000, it was not once in the sample. That is a hunt you can prepare for. Freeze here. Your job is not to worship a table. Get the bishop outside the pawn chain before e6, then know what to do when h4 arrives. We'll play that order from Black's side, choose the square, survive the chase, and keep developing. The band data ends here. The lesson starts on the board. Let's return to the move that decides the lesson. After e4, c6, d4, d5, e5, Black is to move. Before you touch the e-pawn, ask where the bishop on c8 will live. If the answer is behind e6, pause. For this plan, play bishop f5 and put the bishop outside the chain. That's the order, not a verdict on every Caro-Kann move. c5 is another plan to study, but it isn't today's lesson. Today's rule is narrower. The light bishop gets a square first, and e6 closes the door after that. Now White answers with knight f3. Has the bishop done its job? Yes! Play e6 without burying it, then develop the knight, bring out the dark squared bishop and castle. The pawn closes the chain, but the light bishop is already outside it. White chooses bishop d3 instead. This is the direct question. Meet it with bishop takes d3, let queen takes d3 recapture, and play e6. The point is not to win a bishop. Your bishop was active before the exchange, and the development order stayed intact. Pause on the position after e5. White hasn't moved again, and you're Black. Say the next move before I show it. Pawn to e6 first, or bishop to tf5 first. If you chose the bishop, that's the habit this video is trying to give you. Now, bishop f5. White plays h4. This isn't a tactic. The pawn is preparing g4 and asking the bishop to choose a square. Your first response is h6. It gives the bishop h7 as a retreat square and keeps the decision visible. White plays g4. The question is real now. Move the bishop before the pawn can take it. In this line, use bishop g6. It stays outside the chain, so e6 remains available. Don't drift to the edge because the pawn is loud. Choose a square that still lets you finish e6 and develop. White can choose a quieter move. If g4 never comes, don't run the bishop around the board. Complete the order with e6, then develop the knight and castle. The bishop hunt is a branch, not the whole opening. Another white try is knight c3. No pawn is chasing the bishop yet, so don't invent a retreat problem. Keep the bishop on f5, then answer the position with e6, develop your kingside knight and castle. The lesson survives a quieter move. Read the threat first, and only move the bishop when the board asks. Your opponent has just played h4, and your bishop is still on f5. Which move belongs here? e6, h6, or a panicked retreat to the rim? Hold your answer. The pawn announced its plan, so answer the plan before closing the center. Play h6. If White follows with g4, play bishop g6. If White stays quiet, finish the bishop first setup with e6 next. If White uses bishop d3, the clean branch is bishop takes d3, then e6. The principle stays the same. The bishop chooses its square before the pawn chain becomes a cage. Notice what changes when the opponent asks a more precise question. h4 simply asks where your bishop is going. Your answer isn't a rating band. Recognize the position. Bishop outside, h6 against the hunt. Bishop g6 of g4, then development. Now for the move we're stopping on purpose. After e5, Black plays e6 and the light bishop sits behind its pawn. That's a strategic concession, not a blunder alarm. Don't tilt. Develop the dark squared bishop, challenge the center with c5, and castle. Next game, make the bishop's move first. If this is the position you reach, keep the next move practical. When White plays knight f3, answer with c5 if the center calls for it. When White develops quietly, bring out the knight and look for bishop d7 or a route opened by exchanges. You are pairing the move order, not proving the opening lost. That permission matters. A lower rated game isn't ruined because you played e6. Next game, make the bishop's move first. The board gives you a second chance, finish development, watch the center, and don't chase a pawn just to feel busy. Reset to bishop f5 h4. If white has prepared g4, your bishop needs a square. If white hasn't, you've got time. Read the threat, not the reputation of the opening. A move is useful because of the position it creates, not because a chart told you to copy it. Here is the plan as a continuous illustrative replay. This isn't a historical game or a forced line. It's a legal teaching position you could reach next game. e4, c6, d4, d5, e5, bishop f5 h4. Black gets the bishop out, and white chooses the hunt. Black plays h6, keeping h7 available. White pushes g4, so the bishop must move. G-bishop g6 is the square in this line. Don't stop at the bishop escaped. Ask what the square does. It stays connected to the center, and the e-pawn can now close the chain. White develops with knight c3. Only now does black play e6. The order is visible: bishop first, pawn second. White adds a knight with g, file knight to e2, so black challenges the center with tc5s. White develops with bishop e3, and black brings out the queenside knight with knight c6. These moves are more than opening trivia. White holds the center, black makes the pieces useful before asking for a break. That keeps the bishop lesson connected to the game. White plays the 4, so the center is tense and the kings are still waiting. Black exchanges with tc takes d4. White recaptures knight takes d4. Now the light bishop has survived the hunt. The c-pawn has asked its question, and both sides have a position to play. Black continues, bishop b4, white answers, bishop b5, and black develops with knight e7. Both sides castle with castles, kingside, castles, kingside. That's the payoff of the order. We didn't hide the bishop, panic when h4 appeared, or spend the game chasing the pawn. We played the position. One last board quiz. Start at bishop f5, h4, h6. White chooses between g4 and bishop d3. If they play g4, what do you say? Bishop g6. If they play bishop d3, what's the clean branch? Bishop takes d3, then e6. You're matching a reply to a job, not guessing. Put the order on a sticky note. Bishop out, then e6. If white plays h4, play h6. If white plays g4, use bishop g6. If white plays bishop d3, answer with bishop takes d3. If white stays quiet, stop hunting for a special trick and finish development. The opening gets less mysterious when every reply has a job. Next time you play the Caro-Kann Advance, don't ask whether you remember the whole variation. Ask whether your light-squared bishop has escaped. If yes, you're ready for e6. If white throws h4, you already know the route. That's the lesson. Chess, but you're cooked.